Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. For the first time in three-time national champion, the Oregon State Beavers, the last Super for the Men's College World Series, and the winner of our Super Regional, Xavier Scruggs and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. Welcome to Kentucky, second most in Pac-12 history, and Oregon State 6-1 for the Wildcats, and the senior, the grad transfer, 3-7.
And let the defense work.
Ball one outside to Bizana as we're under the Beavers center fielder. 8 hits in the regional last week, including season-high 4 hits against Tulane last Friday night in their opening game. Boozer kicks, and the pitch, and McDowell in the air, in left, backing up as Ryan Waldschmidt has room. Reaches the warning track and steps onto the track, and a long fly out the other way, and there's 2 quick outs for Trey Boozer.
And already a good indication of being able to command his pitches early in the count.
Getting 7, allowing 1 run. In a 6-1 victory for Kentucky. And it's 2-1 on Gavin Turley. The pitch. There's a bouncer toward third. That's glove wide of the bag, foul by Mitchell Daly. That evens the count. 2-2 is Boozer, the 6'4" grad transfer from the College of Charlotte. In fact, Boozer has won each of his last 3 starts. And a full count on Turley. Seven homers the last 15 games for Turley, a 15-game on-base streak. And now it's 16 as he takes ball 4 outside. And a 2-out base runner for the Beavers. The 2-out walk, that'll bring up the cleanup batter, Oregon State left fielder Dallas Macias. 3:25. Short lead for Gavin Turley. And it's ball 1 to Macias.
We just saw what Turley did a great job of working a great at-bat, getting himself on base. That's what Oregon State has done all season long. The walks have been something that they take advantage of. They rarely go out of their zone.
Swing and a miss. Out in front of the off-speed, 1-1 the count, where Oregon State on base percentage this year. Boozer the 1-1. That's fouled back. Ball and 2 strikes on the cleanup batter for Oregon State. Turley, who has 6 steals on the year, the runner, buzzing. People crammed into every part of Kentucky Proud Park. Macias in the air to center. Going back is Nolan McCarthy. Has room, and he makes the catch to retire the side. Oregon State strands a runner. Kentucky coming to bat. Off against Aiden May, the transfer from Arizona. And a fastball was bounced foul past this. We welcome those of you just joining us to Kentucky Proud Park in Lexington, Kentucky, along with Xavier Scruggs and our ESPN crew. Roxy Bernstein with you. Bottom of the first. And it's 1-2 now on the leadoff batter for the Wildcats. Ryan Walsh, their ticket to the Men's College World Series. They're headed to Omaha. And it's funny, we already have 2 Super Regionals that have concluded. We're just getting going here in Lexington. This is game 1.
Started. Let's go.
So the Wildcats hosting a Super Regional for the first time in program history against Oregon State, who's a 3-time national champion. Swing and a miss, got him with a breaking ball, and Aiden May with the strikeout of Waldschmidt, and there's 1 away.
And Roxy, this is obviously a go-to. And expect to see that pitch a lot today. If he can continue to expand the zone as well, you're talking about a lot of success for him.
Here's Emilian Petrie, the second baseman for Kentucky. And he takes ball 1. Aiden May, the 1-0. And that's ripped to right, going back is Brady Casper, and he reaches up, stepping onto the track, and he runs it down. That ball struck well by Petrie.
Yeah, really strong off the bat there. But an excellent route, just opening up the hips, getting to the baseball there from Casper. Right off the bat, saw it, was able to get to the spot, secure the catch.
2 gone, the catcher, Devin Burks for Kentucky. 257, 3 homers for Burks. 3 for 10 of the regional last weekend here, where Kentucky swept through. Devin Burks. And that's a strike to the knees from Aiden May. Maybe got a couple extra inches down low.
He's not complaining.
Plate umpire Craig Barron tonight works mostly in the ACC. And that's a strike. 1-2 on Devin Burks. And the rest of our umpiring crew, Brian Marine at first, Casey Moser at second, Jeff Macias down the line at third. Slight breeze blowing out toward left, temps in the mid-70s. Swing and a miss, and May a 1-2-3 first with 2 strikeouts. We're headed to the second, still looking for a hit in Lexington. To open up the second. 5, 6, and 7 for Oregon State. Brady Casper, Mason Guerra to follow. There's a liner. Sharp back through the middle. And a leadoff hit for Oregon State to open up the second is Elijah Hainline. Has now hit 14 of the last 15 games. He was red hot in Corvallis in the regional last week, and it continues here in Lexington.
Yeah, this is obviously a shot right back up the middle, but more than anything, you get going early in the count, early with no outs. You get that leadoff man on. Now you can start putting some things to work and putting pressure on the defense.
Hainline, honorable mention, all Pac-12, 6 steals this year. And Brady Casper, the right fielder for Oregon State, climbs in. Pitch. And it struggled in the regional last week. Casper just 1 for 13. But last year he had 2 homers in the Baton Rouge regional, where LSU, of course, beat Oregon State. Then LSU in the Super Regional beat Kentucky. And then Jay Johnson's team went on to win the College World Series. And nice job behind the plate by Devin Burks. 2-1 on Brady Casper. Burks rather, part of this outstanding defensive club that Kentucky has. One of the top defensive teams in the country. Let's face it, one of the reasons why, Xavier, they're 43-14 in SEC co-champs.
Absolutely. It's just sound on all aspects of the game. And that's why you look to both of these teams, try to put pressure on opposing defenses, do whatever you can to make the other team try to make a mistake. Feel like they have to do a little bit too much.
Called strike to Casper. And it fills up the count for the Oregon State right fielder. And the Kentucky defense this year behind Puser, they're 13th in the country in fielding percentage, a .980 team fielding percentage. Casper reaches forward, a high chop, tough play, charging Petrie at second, gets the out at first. As Elijah Hainline goes to second base, 1 gone.
And right on cue, talking about that defense, this is a team in which Gavin Smith talked about it during the press conference. Just he expects their guys to be that much more on point moving forward into the Super Regional. Guys just have an extra focus on that defensive side. They're doing a nice job.
1 out, a runner at second. Mason Guerra, the Oregon State first baseman. 11 homers, 5 Beavers swept through, going 3-0. They beat Tulane, then beat UC Irvine twice to get to this Super Regional in Lexington. So Guerra, an honorable mention, all Pac-12 pick. Despite the late struggles to the season, where Guerra went hitless in 11 consecutive games. Guerra suffered through an 0 for 41 spell. Finally broke out of it with 3 hits in Tucson against Arizona, final weekend of the regular season, when the Wildcats, who won the finale of that series to take the Pac-12 championship. Guerra skies it way up into the air behind the plate. And looking into the crowd is Devin Burks, where Oregon State crushed Arizona in the Thursday and Friday games, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday weekend series to end conference play. But then Arizona won the Saturday game on a walk-off hit from Brendan Summerhill. And they won the Pac-12 championship by a half game over Oregon State. And then Arizona also won the Pac-12 tournament championship. Hainline at second, the 2-2. Guerra swing and a miss. Power to fastball by him. First strikeout for Trey Puser. There's 2 gone.
Yeah, there's Puser to swing there and did a nice job getting the result.
Leaves it up to Jabin Trotsky for Oregon State. Sophomore from Carmel, up in Northern California. 295 with a homer. And a spin but no throw from Poozer to second, keeping an eye on Elijah Hainline. Games of the regional last week. And then Trotsky started the finales. That one darts the outside corner. But Trotsky would also come in late defensively for Oregon State those first couple of games, and really is a steady defensive player. Although second base is his natural position, he's not going to play second base this year for Oregon State. They got a pretty good player over there. Trotsky hitting 295 overall, but 361 this year with runners in scoring position. Top of the second, 2 outs. Elijah Hainline at second base. Trey Poozer, the pitch. And Poozer again has won each of his last 3 starts, including beating Illinois 6-1 through 102 pitches last Saturday in the regional here at Kentucky Proud Park. And the 7 innings tied his season high for him as far as innings pitched. Called strike.
And I think that's a focus for Poozer, right? Trying to give your team some length coming into this first game. You know how important it is to win this first game of the Super Regional. If you can give your team some quality innings, keep them in this game or ahead at the time, you've done your job.
And a full count now on Trotsky. So Poozer, who began the year in the bullpen for Kentucky, and then took over in the weekend rotation toward the end of March and has not relinquished that spot. Swing and a miss, got him with the off speed. Burks down to first to complete the strikeout. 2 strikeouts to the second for Poozer. The Beavers, a hit but stranded runner, heading to the home second, scoreless.
What we've seen all season long from any collegiate team.
Backdoor slider from May runs over the outside edge as Nick Lopez, the DH, leads off the second, middle third of the order for Kentucky. Mitchell Daly, Brian Nicholson to follow. And Lopez, first team all SEC. And he grounds it foul to first base side. And Lopez no stranger to facing Oregon State. He transferred from USC. Look, I think it was black when he showed up here at the ballpark today. And he dyed it at some point pregame. Yes, it's not natural. I'm giving his secret away. 1-2 on Lopez, who this year turned himself into a switch hitter. He wasn't switch hitting when he was at USC last year, as you get a look at that all-time stash right there from Lopez. But in the fall, he just did it on his own. And hopped into the cage one day and began switch hitting again. Even though he's probably a more natural hitter from the right side. But it's catching on with the mustaches here in Lexington. Flare to left toward the line, falls in. Gets by Dallas Macias to the wall. Nick Lopez, who was second in the SEC in doubles, with double to open up the home second, the first hit for Kentucky.
Yeah, first give credit to Lopez, who doesn't bounce. Now you got a runner in scoring position for Kentucky.
Mitchell Daly, the third baseman, 302, 6 homers. Corners playing up a bit here for Kentucky, and squaring and bunting at it and missing. But they're saying he did not offer after appeal to first. No swing. It's 1-0 on Daly.
Expect him to get it down.
That time he pushes it foul behind the plate. And Daly, who is no stranger to the postseason. Daly, who played 3 years at Texas, and with the Longhorns went to Omaha in 2021 when he was a freshman All-American. This year on the All-SEC defensive team. Made the move to third base after being a shortstop at Texas. Gets the bunt down. May has one play. They get the out at first. Nick Lopez takes third, 1 away. So Daly does the job.
Big part of Kentucky's game is just being able to move the runners, be able to make the defense work. They're going to try to put a lot of pressure on the defense. Every guy has the ability to bunt in this lineup. You see 34 sacrifice bunts this season. They're not afraid to play small ball as well as bang with you, too.
So the most sacrifices in the SEC. Now the big basher, Ryan Nicholson, leads Kentucky in homers and RBIs. And he drives this one out to center. Micah McDowell back onto the track. He leaps, and it's off the wall. Nick Lopez scores, and stopping at second, Ryan Nicholson narrowly missed a home run. And Kentucky's on the board first.
little bit and maybe had the opportunity to make the catch.
Called strike to Nolan McCarthy. The Kentucky center fielder, 279, 7 homers for the 7-hitter for Nick Mingione. RBI double, Nicholson at second base, driving in Lopez, who doubled to lead off the bottom of the 2nd inning. And that one's flared foul.
Roxy, I think part of Kentucky's game plan.
He's been hit by a pitch in each of the last 4 games. And he hits one out toward left center field. Charging in is Macias. And he dives and he makes the catch. Dallas Macias, a great break on it, coming over and in as Nicholson gets back to second.
Yeah, Macias saw you right there for out number 2.
2 outs, right fielder James McCoy. 227, 6 homers for the Kentucky right fielder. 2 outs and Ryan Nicholson at second. May powers a fastball by him. 95 for Lexington Regional. He homered last Friday against Western Michigan. And he was in a tailspin toward the end of the year. Going into the regional, he was 0 for 21. 8 straight games he went without a hit. The average dropped from 257 to 227 now, even after swinging it well last weekend. That one bounces, and of course, it's customary with Kentucky. We don't move.
And what you speak about McCoy is one of the things that you appreciate when you have the opportunity to go into postseason play. You go into the regional, you try to flush everything that happened previous, right? You just try to get back to an approach that you had earlier on in the season and find success with that. You can't think about the slump continuing over. No, I've got to leave that in the past, get back to doing the little things right at the plate.
2-1 on James McCoy. Ryan Nicholson, the RBI double. He's at second base. Aiden May's 2-1 pitch runs inside. And May is also a guy, you'll see him from time to time. He can wear his emotions on his sleeve. And we saw when he left the game after his start last Friday against Tulane in the Corvallis Regional, he was slamming his glove into the wall there in the Oregon State dugout in frustration. And that one, did it hit him? Yes, it did. And it's just as we talked about, we don't move. James McCoy, he didn't move, and he was hit, which is something that Kentucky happens frequently to the. And now hosting a super regional for the first time. 2 on, 2 out. Grant Smith, the shortstop, and 9-hitter. 5 homers this year, and he takes a slider for a strike from May. And these two go back a long way. They're both from Alba, playing against and with one another. Hit sharply on the ground is short, fielded by Elijah Hainline, gets the 4th, side retired. Kentucky strands 2, but they get a run. 1-0 Wildcats. To the 3rd we go. So 1-0 Wolfpack in that super regional. Game 2 tomorrow. Tanner Smith leads off the 3rd for Oregon State. 9-1-2 for Mitch Canham's team. Travis Bazzana, then Micah McDowell to follow. 225, 5 homers. Smith rolls one to 3rd. Fielded by Mitchell Daly. Cranks it across to 1st. And there's one gone on the Oregon State 3rd.
Hoosier's doing a nice job with the off-speed already. Throwing it early in the count. You see him use the changeup and the slider there. He's got a good pace going today. Knows
off the ball game. And he takes a strike and a changeup. From Trey Poozer, it's 0-1 here. And the most outstanding player of the Corvallis Regional last weekend. The all-time record holder in numerous categories in Beavers history. And he gets fooled and just got a piece of it. But Bazzana is the single season and all-time career home run leader. The all-time stolen base and single season leader. This year has scored a season best 84 runs and drills one to right, hooking toward the corner, and Bazzana has it foul. Just out in front of it. And the count holds 1-2 on Travis Bazzana. Plus he has the career doubles mark, the all-time runs record in Oregon State history, and the career hits leader.
Is that good?
Not bad. Not bad. And he fouls it back.
Well, the thing that's impressed me most about Travis Bazzana is just the ability to lay off of tough pitches. His plate discipline is so far advanced for his age and where he's at right now. And with the exit velos that he has, the ability to hit the ball hard, that is all good for him.
And fastball, he struck him out. 91 and Bazzana. 3rd strike.
Pull one way foul and then backs him up with that fastball.
Micah McDowell fouls it straight back. Fly out in the first for McDowell. McDowell, who was dealing with an oblique strain midseason, rounding back into form, going 8 for 13, drove in for a ball.
Just being able to move the feet of the hitters a little bit is something he'll have success with, because remember, he's not a high velocity guy. He's sitting around 91, 92, but if he can make it look harder by changing speeds and going inside, he'll have that success today.
Called strike, nibbles to the outside corner. 2-2 on Micah McDowell. This crowd has been into it from before first pitch. And it's just off the outside. The catcher, Devin Burks, was set up away. And it's now full count of the Beavers in Southern Waldschmidt. The 1-1. Lifted out of play, and it's 1-2. So Aiden May pitched last Friday, went 5 2/3 against Tulane, the opening game for Oregon State. Of the Corvallis regional, he struck out 9, but he also walked a season-high 4, throwing 106 pitches last Friday, giving up 4 runs, 3 earned in 5 2/3 innings against the Green Wave. And he closed the fastball by him. 96 from May, 3rd strikeout.
Really there today, a little amped up obviously, but he looks good.
Emilian Petrie, a fly out to right in the first. Second baseman for Kentucky chops one off the line. Mason Guerra leads May to the bag, and it's 2 quick outs for Aiden May. Here in the last of the 3rd inning, the NCAA Super Regional coverage continues through Monday across ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, and ESPN Plus. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. And also for around-the-clock coverage, if you want more, there's always squeeze play. As May misses high, ball 1 to Devin Burks. Strikeout victim in the first. (1-0). Bunting at it, and a foul from Burks. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Advantage there.
1-1 on Burks. 1-0 Kentucky, an RBI double in the second from Ryan Nicholson. And that ball is skied, hooking behind third. Jabin Trotsky in foul ground, watches it sail into the crowd. And it's 1-2 on the Kentucky catcher. The Wildcats, 43-14. Back-to-back 40-win seasons for the first time in Kentucky baseball history. And they went 14-5 against ranked teams this year. May, the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball struck him out. And a 1-2-3 third.
Basically every game for almost the entire year. It's like a rerun, and they know what I'm going to say. They know what they're going to say almost every single game, and I'm sure they have it memorized by now.
Well, Trey Poozer looks sharp. What are you seeing from your right-hander?
He's doing a good job. He's getting swings. He's getting swings and misses on multiple pitches, and he's getting our defense involved. That's us at our best. I mean, he's just ramming it in there, go on the attack, and let our defenders work.
Coach, as far as the offensive side, what have you liked, or what do you want to see more?
That's Brady Casper, a ground out in the second. Trey Poozer delivers, and that's low and outside for a ball. 1-0 on the Beavers right fielder. But this ballpark is jammed. On the ground to first, flagged down by Ryan Nicholson, leads Trey Poozer.
The way these guys work together, they communicate, they push. I mean, I know we haven't put any runs on the board to this point, but they're coming back in, they're building a plan, they're working on making adjustments against a guy who has a good mix. But I loved where they're at, how they dominated last weekend together, and looking to carry it on this weekend.
Coach, let me talk to you specifically about that offensive plan game against a Trey Poozer.
Well, I mean, you still got to prep for everyone that they have on roster. So trying to put together a plan for all of that in advance. And then, you know, a guy who has some heavy sink, changeup that he's going to throw all the time, breaking ball as well. Really just got to be able to see it up. Make sure you're not trying to do too much with it. Try to get big on something with some heavy sink, and you're going to miss it. You're going to clip it, pop it up, or roll one over. So you know. Well, right out the chute, he was filling up the zone, landing his slider too. He's getting out here and play catch. There we go.
Just what you wanted, right? You got the lead runner at second base.
Yeah, that works. I'll take it. But really, you know, Aiden works with quick tempo. You know, he starts to, I mean, he really gets in rhythm out there. I like that Tanner came out and had a visit with him, you know, after a little bit of traffic, and then he dialed it right back in. So it just shows that there's some good leadership.
Coach, can you tell us one thing about Travis Bazzana that the world may not know? I know we know everything about him, supposedly, but what is something that's been really special to you?
He's just an incredible human being with a huge heart, and I can't express that enough. I love the young man. He's going to do great things in sport, but also he makes himself better. He makes us as coaches better in all aspects. So I don't know. I don't know if I should share any crazy stories. I really don't have a ton, but you know, he is.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Mitch Cannon, the head coach of Oregon State. One out, Mitchell Daly at first after the fielder's choice, where Jabin Trotsky was able to throw at the second to force Nick Lopez. Ryan Nicholson, and it gets away from the catcher, Tanner Smith, and a free 90 feet. So essentially the sacrifice bunt that Oregon State took away, they give him the 90 feet.
Yeah, they take advantage of it, right? And
3-1 the count on Nicholson, who doubled off the wall in center in the second, driving in the only run. 3-1. Aiden May, the pitch. Chopped up the first base side, foul. And the count is run full on Ryan Nicholson now, and back to second goes Mitchell Daly. And homered twice, drove in 4. He's homered in each of the last 2 games and narrowly in the second inning missed for making it 3 in a row. Ground ball towards short. Elijah Hainline goes to third to get the lead runner, and they throw out Daly at third base. Nicholson's aboard on the fielder's choice with 2 away, but the base running mistake, look, that's the way Kentucky plays. But sometimes they can be over-aggressive.
Yeah, they're going to take their chances, right? And you can't try to force the issue right there, because now you would have had a guy in scoring position with 2 outs and still another opportunity for a base hit to score you.
Nicholson 3 steals on the year at first as 2 outs, and Nolan McCarthy will fly out in the second. The pitch, and May buries a fastball in the... Everything else is artificial. 2-0 to McCarthy is low and away from May. 96 on the fastball, and it's 3-0. And Oregon State has a similar field in Corvallis, with the exception the mound in Corvallis is the field turf. There is no dirt on the Oregon State field at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. 3-0 and a chop to third. Jabin Trotsky on the high bounce, throws it across, and got him by a half a step to retire the side. Runner stranded. We're through 4 in Lexington. Bottom of the order. And a called strike to Mason Guerra leading off the top of the 5th inning for Oregon State. Bottom of the order. Oregon State with 3 championships, all in the last 20 seasons. And Guerra hit by a pitch up and in that got away from Poozer. And a leadoff base runner for Oregon State to start the 5th. Mason Guerra, he's aboard. That'll bring up Jabin Trotsky. So while they check on Guerra, appears to be okay at first base. Next Sunday, and the Yankees. 5:30 Eastern. Baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown. That's tomorrow's Sunday night baseball. I'm not going to try to do a British accent. That's like Tim Kirkjian and Doug Glanville because they're over there. Along with Michael Kay. Jabin Trotsky bunts up the first base side that peels off foul.
This is one thing with bunting on this turf here. We've seen a couple of high bounces. You do have to be careful as far as how you deaden the baseball. Can't get too far on top of the baseball or bounce straight back to the catcher, then he'll have an opportunity to throw down to second. So you do have to be really...
There, 1 ball, 1 strike. 4 sacrifice bunts for Trotsky this year, tying for the Oregon State lead. And it's 2-1. Crowd didn't like it, but it was high. The order looming after.
You'll see Daly over that third base creeping in, expecting the bunt towards his side here.
There's a strike to Trotsky, who pulled the bat back. The 2 strikes, you leave it on?
Well, the thing with Trotsky is he's really good at handling the...
Mason Guerra hit by a pitch at first. Poozer, the 2-2. Trotsky and a half swing comebacker. Poozer to second, throws it away. And a break for Oregon State. It appeared Pooser tried to hurry at X because they had the potential for a double play.
Absolutely. He actually had a little more time than he originally expected. And he was a little off balance on the throw. Doesn't get to third on that because he slid into second base. Otherwise, he might have rounded and able to get to third base on the errant throw.
Mound visit for Kentucky pitching coach Dan Rozelle out to the hill. And Oregon State with 2 on and nobody out, and Tanner Smith coming up. The 9-hitter with Bizzana on deck. It brings up an interesting dilemma, because if you bunt here to advance the runners, one. Corner's playing up a bit. And Smith pulls the bat back, and it's a strike. And also Tanner Smith, you wonder, now he's only grounded into 1 double play, but there's a catcher and a right-handed hitter. That's what Kentucky is probably thinking about. And he almost fired it to the backstop, 1-1 the count.
Another thing with Smith this year, too, hasn't been great with runners in scoring position, so the bunt may offer an opportunity to move those runners over. He's only 4 for 35 with runners in scoring position, batting .114.
1-1 the count of the Beavers catcher, Trey Pooser. The pitch, and it's low and away to Tanner Smith, 2-1. Kentucky clinging to the one. Pops it up, and it goes to the screen, and now it's 2-2. And I'll ask you again, Xavier, do you leave the bunt on here with 2 strikes? Different situation.
It is a different situation, and Smith is a guy that, just like Trotsky, can be able to handle the bat with 2 strikes. Knowing Mitch, he's done a good job of letting his guys hit with 2 strikes. I'm expecting him to swing the bat.
And he does, and he grounds it foul right past third base coach for Oregon State, Ryan Gibson. Great history with Oregon State baseball.
And as a hitter here, my main thing is just staying out of the double play, right? If I can try to get something out front, drive it to the outfield, staying away from two ball.
Swing and a miss, he got him. The breaking ball, 5 strikeouts for Pooser, and a big first out. Bizzana 0 for 2. And a nice job behind the plate by Devin Burks to smother that. But you have right-hander Robert Hogan getting loose. And the lefty, rather 2 righties, I should say, are up. And Cameron O'Brien has joined him. 2-0 on Bizzana. Ground out and a strikeout tonight.
This is where Bizzana's so good. If he gets his swing off here, you can expect some damage.
Catches the outside edge. 2-1 on Bizzana. As Kentucky with the overshift onto the infield. The shortstop, Grant Smith, swung around on the right. Here comes the 2-1. And it's low to Bizzana. And it's a tough spot for Pooser X, because when you're looking at the Oregon State lineup, this is the one guy that you circle that we can't let him beat us.
Absolutely.
And they don't. Ball 4, they're loaded for Micah McDowell with 1.
And I would expect a similar game plan against McDowell. Another left-handed hitter here now with bases loaded and an opportunity less than 2 outs. We saw a lot of off-speed there, going to that slider, going to that changeup.
Bases full, 1 out. And a squeeze play put on, and scampering back to third was Mason Guerra as Oregon State trying to catch Kentucky off guard.
Yeah, we have the safety squeeze here, which is where the runner on third has to see it down from McDowell. If he doesn't see it down, he does not commit to going full speed home. Did a nice job getting him home.
And McDowell didn't look comfortable trying to bunt that one on the first pitch.
That's the only thing I don't like about that, is now you get yourself into a hole extremely quick.
Mason Guerra at third. Javen Trotsky at second. Travis Bizzana at first. The 0-2. McDowell swinging and a miss, struck him out. And on 3 pitches, Pooser gets his 6th strikeout. (2-0) on Gavin Turley. A walk and a flyout. Oregon State has 7 slams this season. 5 by Turley. Micah McDowell, who just struck out, has 1. And Jacob Craig, not in the lineup tonight for Mitch Canham, has the other. Gavin Turley was aiming for his 6th slam of the year.
Yeah, that one's too big of a swing right there. You saw the helmet almost fall to be able to drive something and use the whole field here. I don't have to think left center.
Evens the count. Low outside edge at 94. That's the fastest pitch we've seen from Poozer tonight.
Obviously a little amped up here. Now he can use an opportunity to maybe expand the zone with that slider after using that fastball in the corner.
Everybody standing here in Lexington. Ground ball to third, up with it. Mitchell Daly flips it to second, and Oregon State leaves them loaded. After sweeping through the Lexington Regional last weekend against Western Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana State, they are 23-6 here at home this year. And if there's been Achilles' heel for Oregon State, they're just 9-10 on the road. So Grant Smith, the 9-hitter, has 8 sacks, and these Albuquerqueans, is that what we're going to call them? They've known each other for a long time. And Smith on a pitch up and in, and he's saying it hit him. And appeal no swing, and Smith heading down toward first. It may have caught him in the helmet as Smith came up and in with the fastball. And there is Grant Smith getting checked out by the athletic trainer for Kentucky. Take single and a hit batter. May the pitch and floats that way outside. Good backhand by the catcher Tanner Smith.
And this own from ESPN, who says he might slot between that 12 to 18 range in the first round. At this point, this is the guy you want up.
And the pitching coach for Oregon State, Rich Dorman, headed out to the mound to calm down May. Activity beginning in the Oregon State bullpen. Looks like the right-hander Joey Munt beginning to throw. But a threat for Kentucky, already leading 1-0 here in the last of the 5th.
And this mound visit is more about just, hey, hitting our spots and sticking with the game plan that we brought in before this game even started.
May has thrown just 57 pitches. And he's been efficient so far tonight. 1-0 the count on Ryan Waldschmidt. Again, in the what would be dirt from May. It's 2-0.
In front of him, get hit. Now a couple of balls. I can't get overly aggressive here. He's got to bring me my pitch.
Second team all SEC Waldschmidt. Way outside. And May has not been close. These have been non-competitive pitches from Aiden May. And another one that's not close. They're loaded. The first walk issued by May. James McCoy, the leadoff single. He's at third. Grant Smith scoots up to second base. And here comes Emilian Petrie, who's 0 for 2. Oregon State plays the infield to double play depth, and May fires a fastball outside. Rather a changeup for May. And it's 1-0. Petrie homered in the regional final last Sunday against Indiana State. Out toward right center field. That's a hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Grant Smith around third. Petrie dives into second base and a 2-run double. 3-0 Kentucky. Out. Second and third for Devin Burks, who has struck out twice. Corners playing even with the bag. Middle of the diamond is back for the Beavers. And the safety is scooped for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. Ryan Waldschmidt at third. Emilian Petrie at second, and that runs inside a slider from May.
And if they go back to the safety squeeze here again on a 1-1 count, it's on Waldschmidt over there.
Jam shot pop up. Travis Pizzana backpedaling at second, and a big first out for Aiden May. 1 out, second and third. All right, here's an interesting spot also, Xavier, because second and third, you have an open base at first, 1 out. Nick Lopez is 2 for 2 tonight. Would you pitch around him?
I can't afford to pitch around him for the moment because I've got to get back to throwing strikes and being competitive in the zone, letting the defense work. Right now, I feel like A&M is still trying to get back to what he was doing earlier in the game. I don't want to let any guys on base.
Fastball missing for ball one. Grad transfer from USC. And May just misses off the outside. Southern California native, Nick Lopez. And May steps off. His disengagement right there. Take a deep breath. It's 2-0 on Lopez. Runners lead the pitch. And that's in there for a strike.
If I'm Lopez, I'm okay with that, right? I want to find out where he's locating at. That way my focus can be up the middle. You see how second base and shortstop are back. Corners are even with the bag. I got to think middle of the field here, even with the ground ball.
Fouled off by Lopez.
I don't have to necessarily think deep fly ball for the sacrifice fly. A ground ball to second base or shortstop will still score us another run.
2-2 on Nick Lopez. Ryan Waldschmidt at third. Emilian Petrie at second, the two-run double. Backdoor slider, strike three call to Lopez. The 1-0. Swing and a miss. Good fastball up from May. And Daly's done a lot of his damage with 2 outs in an inning this season. 23 of his 43 runs batted in have come with 2 outs. 2 in scoring position. Got him to chase a slider. 2 strikes on Mitchell Daly. Transfer from Texas. Aiden May. The pitch. Fouled off of the plate. Here it comes. In the air, slicing toward the right field corner. It pushes foul. Goes over on the grassy berm down the right field side, late on the 94 fastball.
We talked about Mitchell Daly's time in Texas. He's had the opportunity to go to Omaha. About a guy that's had the type of experience that he's had. That invaluable to bring that to this team. Now he's looking for a 2-strike base knock to bring in another run.
In the air, right field. Brady Casper drifting with it. And he puts it away to retire the side, but Kentucky gets 2. And it's 3-0 on Macias. There is activity in the Kentucky bullpen. Cameron O'Brien had been up earlier. He's up again. And Macias taking all the way, and it's right down Broadway for strike 1.
And if you're Trey Poozer right now, you feel like you have to just continue and bring it back over the plate. That's why he's working so well today. The mix in which he's using has been perfect.
And the ability to throw 3 pitches for strikes tonight. Elijah Hainline singled in the second, 1 for 2. And he lifts this one out towards center. Playable for Nolan McCarthy. And there's 2 gone here in the Oregon State 6th. Climbs in for Oregon State. He's 0 for 2. And Poozer with strike 1. Poozer struck out a season best 11 against South Carolina in late April. Went 7 innings, giving up a run on 4 hits. And now he has struck out 7 for the 2nd consecutive start. Bouncer to short. Grant Smith fields, fires, got him at first. And a 1-2-3 48-team tournament, and there were 8 different regional sites of 6 around the country. And it's 2-2 on Nicholson. And Kentucky in that 1988 regional came within 1 game of going to Omaha. And it was against another Pac-12 team. The regional was in New Britain, Connecticut. Nicholson pulls it on the ground, foul. Clemson was the #1 seed in that regional that year. Final, Stanford and Kentucky. They were the last two teams standing and beating the shift and pushing it into center. And a leadoff hit, second hit of the night for Ryan Nicholson.
Well, he can take you 400 off. Good job there. Being able to handle the bat. Not necessarily trying to manipulate the barrel, but I thought he did a nice job of letting the ball travel, just hit them where they're not.
Leadoff single. Here is Nolan McCarthy, who's 0 for 2. Fly out and a ground out. And the pitch from May is in there, a fastball for a strike. So the first game was May 30th of 1988. And that's a slider inside. 1-1 the count. In the starting pitcher for Stanford that first game,
Kyle Peterson.
Kyle's not that old. He's probably really mad at you right now through his, well, he's doing the North Carolina-West Virginia game, so he didn't hear it. Over short, and a soft liner into left for a hit. Stopping at second is Nicholson. There's 2 on for Kentucky. Back-to-back singles to open up the bottom of the 6th. And the bullpen cranking again for Oregon State as James McCoy coming up for the Wildcats. So the starting pitcher, though, in that game is a Major League Hall of Famer.
Mike Mussi.
Game when Stanford singled home the go-ahead run to the bottom of the 8th. And won game 1 6-5. And then in a winner-take-all game, Stanford.
History and then TV.
Good bunt back toward the mound. Munt slings it to first and keeping his foot on the bag, Mason Guerra. And the sacrifice sends Nicholson to third and McCarthy to second.
Nice job of Munt being able to field his position, get off the mound. Get it, throw over to first base, but an even better job of.
Would you bring him in?
I probably would about now, especially the way that they haven't really swung the bats today. Mitch Canham obviously has a lot of faith in his guys putting up some runs. But you see the corners in.
Popped up out of play, and I stand corrected. It was Jack McCoy, not James or Jim.
Now, Joey Munn is mostly going to be slider. 77% sliders coming over the top. If you're Kentucky, you're trying not to get beat by that pitch. Don't expand your zone.
Strike 3. Joey Munt catches the inside edge and freezes Grant Smith in an enormous strikeout for the Beavers right-hander. The 6th. Munt on in relief of Aiden May. Strike called.
And that's that over-the-top slider. It's tough to pick up. Guys have a tough time being able to decipher whether or not it's a fastball up in the zone. It has late movement, late dive down.
Joey Munt, the pitch. Overthrows the fastball. The 5th-year senior Munt trying to keep this a 3-0 game. Swing and a high towering fly, playable in left for Dallas Macias. Coming in, makes the catch. Kentucky strands 2. Through 6. Bottom of the order for the Beavs in the 7th for Oregon State. Mason Guerra swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Shallow right, charging over and in. And getting there is James McCoy for out number 1. Game 2 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night. 8. Jaylen Brown and the Celtics. Pulling for my guy Jason Kidd, though.
Get some buckets.
Pinch hitter for Oregon State, batting for Jamin Trotsky. This is freshman Trent Caraway. 1 out in the 7th. Caraway hitting .350. In 60 at-bats, he has 2 home runs. Caraway, a freshman from Dana Point, Southern California, takes a strike. Oddly enough, against former Kentucky coach Gary Henderson in Salt Lake City. Injured his finger, and he was out all the way until game 1 of the regional against Tulane last Friday. Slams this one foul. And then Caraway started the first 2 games of the Corvallis Regional last weekend, going 2 for homered since. The 1-2. And that's in the what would be dirt to Caraway 2-2. Sarah in Southern California.
Number 1 from Jay Sarah.
Yes, by the Minnesota Twins.
That's right.
3-2. And Caraway takes ball 4 just high. And the crowd didn't like it. And a one-out base runner for Oregon State. And Caraway is on. And pitches now for Poozer. And that's low to Talt. 1 ball, 1 strike. As Talt, the native of Everett, Washington, although he went to high school down in Arizona. He has made 9 starts for Oregon State this season. His only homer coming against Stanford April 14th. And did not on deck. 1-1 on Talt. Poozer, the pitch. Fouled off of the plate. And the last thing Kentucky wants to see right now is Bizana
coming up next. Let's be smart here and make sure we're attacking the zone.
Strike 3 call. Talt gone looking. 8 strikeouts for Poozer. And that's a big out because Bizana comes up and he's not the tie point. Runner at first, 2 down. Bizana's 0 for 2 with a walk. Trey Poozer. The pitch. Strike 1 to Bizana. Poozer, who pitched 4 years at the College of Charleston, a grad transfer. Bizana the other way to left, hit right toward Waldschmidt, going back, and he makes a leaping catch. Ryan Waldschmidt going back on it, was able to haul it in and keep the Beavers off the board. Tanner Smith was pinch hit for by Easton Talt. Wilson Weber's the new catcher. 3-1 on Petrie. Mund, who didn't pitch each of the last 2 seasons. And the 3-1. And he walked him to start the bottom of the 7th. Petrie at first, you got to keep an eye on him. Devin Burks 0 for 3. Petrie runs, throw to second base. Safe and a steal. 25th steal.
Once he didn't see it pick over and he was gone.
2-0 on Burks. Activity in the Oregon State bullpen again is Nick Mingione. With their aggressive style and attacking style, which the fans have absolutely loved here in Lexington. It's paid dividends here. Down low. Jam shot pop-up. Over the head of Elijah Hainline into left. Petrie had to hold to make sure it cleared. Just punched it over the head of the shortstop. The runners in the corners for Kentucky.
Well, this is a nice job of
Henderson. His dad, John, a football player at Fresno State. Grandpa Frank played hoops at Iowa. Strike 1 to Lopez.
It looks like Middle's going to stay back for the double play. Third base and first base are definitely coming home if something's hit toward them and they see the runner break.
1 strike pitch. And that one's knocked down by the chest of Wilson Weber, the new catcher.
Now at first base, Devin Burks has to do a good job. Of reading something in the dirt. If he has the opportunity,
with the eye black and the blue stash, just missed from months. 2-2 on Nick Lopez.
And if you're Lopez here, you still got to take your A swing here. You don't want to try to cut it down too much because then you can offer yourself an opportunity to roll something over or hit yourself into a ground ball double play.
Just missed high. And a full count now on Lopez. Joey Munt, the pitch. Burks running, and a high chopper foul off to the right.
And as a catcher here, you're basically conceding the stolen base if he gets that type of, but the most important thing is to get this guy out at home.
And the sidearm throw to first by Joey Munt. Munt again. The 3-2, Burks running, swing and a miss, and Weber no throw, a steal for Devin Burks, his 19th, and his second stolen base in the inning for Kentucky. Second and third, one out, and that'll bring up Mitchell Daly for the Wildcats. And that's going to be it for 1-0. Swing and a miss as that one floated by Ryan Nicholson.
And it's a sinker-slider combination coming from Hutchison. Use that slider about 38% of the time. Use that sinker that runs back into righties, away from lefties. It's got good movement, but it's that frisbee that's so hard to wait back on.
Weber throws it into left field. Coming home is Devin Burks to second, Mitchell Daly.
You just have to eat it. You cannot make that throw.
High fly ball, right center field. McDowell on the track. Gone, home run. Number 21 for Ryan Nicholson.
And we got the Spider-Man meme at home plate to finish it off. Nicholson.
Base runner and saying, basically, I didn't want to hit you. And now the first base umpire, Brian Marine, stepping in. As Nolan McCarthy becomes the third Kentucky batter to be hit. Again, we don't move. And that's 3 times tonight. They've been rewarded for that. No way, I don't care that it's a 7-0 game, that A.J. Hutchison was trying to throw at somebody. And if that's what you're concerned with, Xavier, that there's bigger issues.
I'm pretty sure that was an off-speed pitch as well.
That was not a fastball. 2-1 the count on McCarthy. Singled in the 6th. That one breaks down and in, and McCarthy was leaning into it.
What was that saying that they have?
3-1. And that one's in tight. And it's ball 4. And the free pass anyways for Nolan McCarthy. But Ryan Nicholson
absolutely blasted.
1 out, a runner at first, James McCoy. 1 for 1 tonight. Singled and scored in the 5th. Sacrifice in the 6th. Hit by a pitch in the 2nd and a foul back. It was 3-0 Kentucky until this inning started with a leadoff walk for Emilian Petrie. Then Devin Burks singled after Nick Lopez struck out. Stolen bases, advancing runners. And the call at home plate overturned on the safety squeeze by Mitchell Daly that made it 4-0. Then a throwing error from the catcher.
It's tough to wait on an off-speed pitch that's so slow, especially after you feel like you have an opportunity to do some damage. He had a big swing and miss early in the count and then changed his approach. He allowed the ball to come to him. He didn't feel like he had to be overly aggressive, and he just let the barrel work.
Activity in the Oregon State pen.
That's huge.
In on the hands, and it's popped up foul back into the left. They have 7 in game 1 tonight. And that's ball 4, and there's 2 on for the Wildcats. And here comes Rich Dorman, who's blazed a trail for the first base dugout. The Beavers pitching coach here in the last of the 7th. LA. And that was his only outing since April 20th at Cal. Strike to Grant.
To add on, right? You don't think that you want to stop putting the foot on the gas pedal right now. You have to continue to press the issue. Keep that momentum going into this inning and further.
Chase a pitch that gets away from Weber. And he fires down to first, and it gets past Mason Guerra. Backed up and right by Brady Casper. And even on a strikeout, Kentucky scoring runs. And Grant Smith ends up at second base on a strikeout wild pitch.
Yeah, it's almost like they just don't stop running. Right? Understanding that ball throws now. just in the last inning, right, from Weber. Not really feeling.
One out. Top of the order, Ryan Waldschmidt. Strike one. Waldschmidt is 0 for 3 with a walk. And Weber scampers after that one after stabbing it, knocking it down.
It's a nice job of being quick to make sure he was able to get to that before another run comes in there. He's working hard back there.
Ninth batter of the inning. And it's high to Waldschmidt. 2-1. Noah Ferguson. Here comes the 2-1. And that gets past the catcher, Weber. Another wild pitch. 9-0 Kentucky. Six runs here in the bottom of the seventh. And Waldschmidt draws a walk. For the second time this inning, Emilian Petrie coming up, and he walked to start the inning. Buddy out in that inning. Did not score. 2-0.
And we talk so much about Oregon State being able to take their walks and have great plate discipline throughout the course of this season. That's what we're starting to see.
On it, you can see him doing the talking right there in the huddle. Saw him getting loose for Oregon State. Runners to the corners. And it's now 3-0 on Petrie. It has gotten away from Oregon State in Kentucky. Pouring it on here in game one. Can Noah Ferguson find the strike zone? And that's again away from Weber. 10-0 Kentucky. And Petrie walks for the second time in the inning. For the seventh. And Kentucky has scored. One out. Devin Burks, the batter. The runners take off. Weber throws to second and out at second base. In the back end of the double steal is Petrie, who already has a stolen base in this inning. And Wilson Weber is able to gun down the trail runner.
Yeah, giving Weber some calm. Get this last out.
One strike pitch. Popped up by Burks. Elijah Hainline settling under it. And his shortstop casually makes the catch. And mercifully, the side is retired by Oregon State. Novi, the junior from Fairfax, Iowa. And McDowell takes a strike. He is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. And for Novi, his 26th appearance, second on the staff.
Yeah, big fastball slider changeup coming out of the lefty. Big thing is keeping the walks down, right? Keeping away from the freebies, be able to get strike one. The walks have been the
So 2, 3, and 4 for the Beavs. 1 and 2 on McDowell. And the disastrous bottom of the seventh for Oregon State pitching. So Kentucky got 7. They had only 2 hits in the inning. 2 and 2 on McDowell. Beaver pitching Wilson Weber. Swing and a miss to McDowell. The strikeout victim, 1 away.
Really, it was like Oregon State got caught off guard by the pressure Kentucky was putting on and added to the consequence by beating themselves up. You guys attempting to sack bunt, be able to bring a runner in with the sacrifice bunt. Just a lot of mishaps in that inning that you don't normally see from Oregon State.
Gavin Turley 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. That's a strike. It's 7 dominant innings from 1 strike pitch. 0 and 2. Game 2 tomorrow night here at Kentucky Proud Park, 9 p.m. Eastern ball game. Little late night in Lexington. Oregon State is kind of used to Pac-12 after dark, so
it'll just be 6 o'clock their time.
Swing and a miss. 2 straight strikeouts tomorrow night. I think they'll be ready for game 2 tomorrow night. Just a hunch. Dallas Macias, the batter, pops it up, coming down from third. Mitchell Daly crossing over. And Nick Lopez, who has 2 hits and has scored a run tonight. You just saw the graphic. 78% of the teams that win game 1 go on to the College World Series. Comebacker speared by Palmer, and underhands for the out. So 1 away. Sunday night baseball series past the Dodgers and the Yankees. A liner to left sinking, and it skips up and over. Dallas Macias all the way to the wall. Mitchell Daly cruises into second base. The Yankees-Dodgers coverage for that one begins 5:30 Eastern with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown. Get past him tonight in left field.
Yeah, it's tough because obviously it's a field that you haven't been to this year. You're still learning it. And we've seen all turfs, different turfs take different bounces. This turf has an extremely high bounce at times. Just came in, second-guessed himself on whether or not he was going to try to dive or catch it, and then bounce was able to get over him.
Called strike. Ryan Nicholson, who's having a big night.
Judy right now.
1-2 on Nicholson, who has homered now in each of the last 3 games. Mitchell Daly out there at second base. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Nicholson a healthy cut. And the strikeout for Leif Palmer. There's 2 away. And now they're starting the wave at Kentucky Proud Park. Record crowd of 74-41. Not much enthusiasm for the wave from the people wearing orange and black here. Now, there's not many of them. Strike 1 to McCarthy. So the Wildcats have yet to trail here in the postseason when they swept through the Kentucky against Western Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana State. And you know the origins of the wave, don't you? Where it began?
I know that you'll be able to break it down for me.
Well, it's from my backyard. Strike 3 call. The wave began in Northern California. Crazy George was the man who invented. All right, Chris. Kentucky 3 outs away from taking a 1-0 lead in this Super Regional. Elijah Hainline, Brady Casper, Mason Guerra batting against Jackson Novi here in the 9th for the Beavers. Hainline has the only hit for Oregon State. Leadoff single in the 2nd. 2-3-8 with a couple of strikeouts. And there's a strike 1 and 2 on Hainline. All right, so I'll finish the story of how the wave was created.
Yes.
By Crazy George Henderson at a soccer match in San Jose, California in 1979. And Hainline is gone. 3 strikeouts for Novi. 14-0 in 1983. Brady Casper, 3 groundouts, is 0 for 3. Novi the pitch. Strike 1. It was a San Jose Earthquakes game against playoffs in 1981 when the A's hosted the Yankees. Under the direction of Crazy George. Yes.
So not only did he have the first wave, create the wave, he created the first major league wave.
Yes.
Unreal.
0-2 on Casper.
I don't know what's more impressive. Someone.
I'm your resident Cliff Clavin. Found him. Well, I would think it's useless, but it actually paid dividends tonight. Fouled back by Casper. By the way, the 7 runs by Kentucky in the 7th. It is the most they have scored in the past 30 matches, the most Strike 3 call to Casper. Paints the outside. And there's 2 away here in the ninth. Oregon State tonight, they've had 7 total base runners. Just the second time Oregon State has allowed 10+ runs in a super regional game. Fouled back by Guerra.
Well, unfortunately for Oregon State, we just didn't see them come out with the same energy that they physical approach from Oregon State coming into this game.
Coming in it today, by the way, Kentucky 3 shutouts in the past 2 NCAA tournaments. And they're 1 out away from putting up another one. A run in the second, 2 in the 5th, and a 7-run 7th that sent 11 to the plate. Mason Guerra takes a strike. 1 and 2 on the Beavs first baseman. But a record crowd, and Kentucky hosting a super regional for the first time. And now we're 1 strike away from their first super regional win. This should do it. Shallow right. Emilian Petrie camps under it. And that is the ball game. A dominant performance. Blank Oregon State. 10-0 Kentucky. Trey Poozers limits the Beavs to only 1 hit. A 45-win team, one of the best offenses